Bill collectors gather round and rather haunt the cottage next door. Men the grocer and the butcher sent, men who call for the rent. But within the happy chappy and his bride of only a year seem to be so cheerful, here and nearful of the chatter you hear. Every morning, every evening, ain't we got fun? Not much money, oh, but honey, ain't we got fun?
Nestled between the Santa Susana Mountains to the north and the Simi Hills to the east and south is the lovely city of Simi Valley. Simi is a Chumash Indian word for wispy clouds, a feature commonly seen in the skies above this area. The Chumash Indians had lived in California for hundreds of years. Simi was one of their settlements. In 1795, Santiago Pico, a Spanish soldier, passed through the valley with an expedition. Later, he purchased the Spanish land grant of El Rancho Simi, with its vast acreage reaching beyond the boundaries of Simi Valley. This rancho planted the seeds for the Catholic presence in Simi Valley. In the early 19th century, Spanish priests erected a cross at Mount McCoy at the west end of the valley to direct travelers to El Rancho Simi. Travelers looked for the cross to know they weren't far from El Rancho Simi that offered hospitality. In 1842, Don Jose de la Guerrero purchased El Rancho Simi from the Pico family. An influx of people in the 1870s and the late 1880s expanded the population of Simi. In 1889, the Strathern family bought their El Rancho Simi. In 1891, they moved from Piru and took up residence in Simi. The family also introduced Angus cattle to the area. St. Rose of Lima faith history traces back to two California missions: San Fernando Rey de España Mission, 21 miles to the east, and San Buenaventura Mission, 37 miles to the west. Both these missions served the spiritual, emotional, and physical needs of the growing community of El Rancho Simi. As the Catholic population increased, parishes began to be established to care for the people. St. Rose of Lima originally was a mission chapel of Santa Clara Church in Oxnard. People from Simi went to Santa Clara Church to baptize their children and to get married. Eventually, the Diocese of Monterey, Los Angeles purchased the old Presbyterian Church on the corner of Pacific and 3rd. Bishop Thomas Cantney blessed the church building on June 22, 1913. In 1921, St. Rose of Lima officially became a parish, and it served the areas of Simi, Santa Susana, and Moore Park. In 1922, a rectory was built adjacent to the church, and Father Luis Felipes Genes became the first resident pastor of St. Rose of Lima. In 1928, Holy Cross of Moore Park bought property and erected a mission church that the priests of St. Rose of Lima serviced. St. Rose of Lima continued to grow, and in 1940, an addition to the church increased the seating capacity to 160. The 1940 census listed 152 registered families. As the population of Simi Valley grew, so did St. Rose of Lima Parish. Soon, the small church was overflowing. Parishioners sat outside on benches or stood under trees or sat in their cars to hear the Mass over loudspeakers. Parents gave religious instruction to the young people in their homes and garages. In 1958, the Archdiocese of Los Angeles appointed Father Patrick McDonough as the 19th pastor of St. Rose of Lima. Father McDonough quickly realized that the existing church could not accommodate the growing Catholic community. He and parishioners began making plans and raising funds to build a new church, a rectory, a school, and a parish hall. On Sunday, January 5, 1964, after the Sunday noon Mass, there was a groundbreaking ceremony for the new church and school buildings. St. Rose of Lima Grade School opened on September 14, 1964, with the Sisters of Notre Dame staffing the school. On November 8, 1964, Father McDonough celebrated the first Mass in the new church. The Catholic population of St. Rose of Lima had grown so much that by 1965 the Sisters of Notre Dame and many volunteer lay teachers were teaching nearly 4,000 students in the Confraternity of Christian Doctrine, CCD ministry. Bishop John Ward celebrated the first confirmation ceremony for 265 students on March 5, 1965, with the new tabernacle, candelabras, and altar rails in place. In October of 1965, the new rectory was started. It was completed in 1966. Also in 1966, the Knights of Columbus, Chapter 5803, was established in Simi. Since their foundation, the Knights have played an integral part in the life of St. Rose of Lima. Their charitable activities have blessed St. Rose of Lima and the people of Simi Valley for 58 years. The community of Simi Valley continued to mushroom, growing from a population of 8,100 in 1960 to 48,000 in 1967, increasing the size of St. Rose of Lima. On March 27, 1967, Bishop Timothy Manning confirmed a record number of 438 students at 2 services, one in the morning and a second one in the afternoon. On June 16, 1968, Cardinal James McIntyre dedicated the St. Rose of Lima Church and school buildings. Father McDonough led the parish through the changes encouraged by the Vatican II. The altar was moved away from the sanctuary wall on April of 1970. Lay ministers were formed and parish organization grew. Sadly, on August 23, 1972, on the feast of St. Rose of Lima, Father McDonough died after faithfully serving the parish for 14 years. Father McDonough is buried at Assumption Cemetery. Father James McEwen served as the parish administrator of St. Rose of Lima until Father Sylvester O'Byrne, the new pastor, arrived on November 20, 1972. Soon after, the boundaries of St. Rose of Lima changed when St. Peter Claver was officially established as a parish in 1972. It covered the east side of Simi Valley and Santa Susana. Father James McEwen was the first pastor. In 1973, in order to meet the expanding ministerial and social needs of the parish, Father O'Byrne started plans to build a parish hall. The parish hall was completed in May of 1975 and was blessed by Cardinal Manning. In his concern for a mission church in Moore Park, Father O'Byrne requested that priests be assigned to serve the people there. So in 1978, Father John Cunningham was appointed the first pastor of Holy Cross, Moore Park. St. Rose of Lima continued to grow. There were between 300 to 400 students and adults confirmed every year during the 1970s. Lay ministries continued to flourish. Both men and women served as lectors and extraordinary ministers of the Eucharist. By 1982, the parish family of St. Rose had expanded to 4,000 families. In 1985, Father Sylvester O'Byrne was reassigned as pastor of Our Lady of Mount Carmel in Montecito. He was also named Monsignor that year. In 1985, Father Michael Bunny became the new pastor of St. Rose of Lima. In 1988, he began plans to expand the facility at St. Rose of Lima to accommodate the parish's growing needs. The plans included a new wing on the north side of the school that would serve as a music room, an adult ministry center, library, faculty lounge, and youth ministry center. Bishop Sylvester Ryan dedicated this new wing in 1990. In September of 1991, Father Bunny built the patio on the west side of the church as a gathering place for families after Mass. On February 23, 1992, Father Michael Bunny was named Monsignor, and in July of 1995, Monsignor Bunny was reassigned as the new pastor of St. Julie Billiart in Newbury Park. Father Jarlath Dolan, a beloved priest, served as a temporary administrator of St. Rose of Lima until Father Michael Carcerano was appointed pastor in July of 1995. Father Carcerano had a deep love for the care of the sick and the poor. Under his leadership, he helped expand the St. Rose of Lima Christian Service Ministry and the outreach to the sick by training many extraordinary ministers of the Eucharist to bring communion to the sick in the hospitals, rest homes, and the homebound. He also led the parish through its 75th anniversary of its founding. By 2008, the population of Simi Valley had increased to 125,000, and the parish had grown to 5,600 families. After serving faithfully for 12 years, Father Michael Carcerano was reassigned as pastor of San Buenaventura Mission in July of 2008. In that same month, Father Joseph Shave was appointed the new pastor of St. Rose of Lima. During the past 13 years, Father Shea and the parishioners of St. Rose of Lima have continued building on the great legacy of the former pastors and parishioners. Together, they have responded to the spiritual needs of the people by creating new ministries and expanding on the existing ones, such as the youth ministry and young adult ministry, Freedom in Christ ministry, Financial Peace University, Apologetics, Alpha Program, the Lenten Catholic University, a men's holy hour, expanding the ministry to our ethnic groups, and the Christmas tree lighting ceremony in December. To update and renovate the parish plant, the parish repaved and restriped the parking lot, creating planted islands to beautify the parking area. For the school, the parish installed a new fence to protect the children when they played, and it renewed some of the school classrooms and bathrooms. It installed new computers. It created a kindergarten classroom and opened the first kindergarten class in 2013. For the Christian Service Program, the parish purchased refrigerators and freezers and installed them in the priest's garage to expand the distribution of food to the poor. It also started the Simi Valley Dream Cuisine Festival to bring the entire community together and to raise funds to support the Christian Service Ministry. The parish also renewed the church building with a new vestibule, complete with new mahogany cabinets, ceiling, lighting, and a beautiful painting of the Last Supper on the north wall, as well as the painting of the Choir of Angels under the choir loft, a new choir loft, new organ pipes, new church lights, a new tabernacle, new Stations of the Cross, a new sound system encased in lovely mahogany cabinet columns in the sanctuary, a camera and video projection system. It also renovated the pews and kneelers. Also, during the past few years, the parish has purchased 2 homes north of the rectory to prepare in the future for a new rectory for the priests and to convert the current rectory into a pastoral center until the parish can build a new large gymnasium, theater arts, and pastoral center where the current parish hall stands. As we celebrate 100 years of faith and service to the parishioners of St. Rose of Lima and to the larger community of Simi Valley, we look forward to many more years of living out the holiness and the charisms of our patroness, St. Rose of Lima, and to continue the mission of Christ.